The Oasis of the Seas is by far the craziest cruise ship I've ever been on. What's up? Welcome to or back to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving you all a boat tour of the Oasis of the Seas, which I just went on with my family about a month ago. If you missed all of our cruise vlogs, which came out just before this video, I will link them down in the description box below so you can see all the cool things we got to do in the ports that we went to and on board. But today we're going to be focusing just on the boat itself. By far the craziest boat I've ever been on, so let me tell you why. The Oasis of the Seas is in the most recent fleet class from Royal Caribbean. It's a massive boat. It's insane. Some of the basics are it has 18 decks. I don't know about you all if you've ever been on a cruise before, but all of the other ones I've been on, which I think is 5 or 6, somewhere in there, the tallest one I've ever been on, I believe, has 12 decks, maybe 13 at most. For sure not 18. I'm not a boat expert, but just by going on other boats than to this one, I would say it's at least double the size in width and length as a normal cruise ship from any other cruise line. So let's start from the bottom up. Decks 1 and 2 are specifically for crew. The only thing to note on deck 2 is the gangway to get off the boat at your ports. I believe we were told to go to deck 3 or 4 by the cruise director, but it ends up taking you down to deck 2. So our room steward actually told us just to go straight to deck 2, so we got to avoid all the lines. Pro tip for you, don't listen to the cruise director. Don't get in the chaos on deck 3 or 4. Just go straight down the elevator to deck 2 and you'll be ready to roll. Deck 3 is basically a lot of staterooms, and then the other things to note on deck 3 are the dining room and the main Opal Theater. The dining room and the Opal Theater stretch across 3 floors. The lowest level is deck 3 for both of those things, and they go up to deck 5. Moving on to deck 4, again, you're gonna have the next level of the dining room, which is actually where we had dining, and we had scheduled time dining, not your time. Like, we had a set time every single day we had dining. If you are allergic to cigarette smoke at all, or it really bothers you, make sure when you're booking your cruise on the Oasis of the Seas to either get on deck 3 or deck 5 for your main dining experience. It's like right outside of the casino, so even if you don't necessarily go through the casino, the smell of cigarette smoke can be a little intense. It bothered my mom while we were there. So just as a precaution for you, if it's something that actually really bothers you and makes you pretty sick, just let them know when you're booking your cruise. Besides those things, the ice skating ring is something to note that's also on deck 4. It's super cool. They have different times, I believe every single day, that you can go ice skating. The other thing that happens in the skating rink is there are actually shows there. The ice skating show was super cool. I didn't film any of it just out of respect for them, and I believe we were told not to film. Actually, I think every single show we went to, we were asked not to film anything, so I did not do that. But if you go, the show was super awesome. Also down there you have the Blaze nightclub, and then there's also the comedy club, and my mom and I went to a show in there one night. My one thing I would say about the comedy club is it's still so small, and I find this on almost every cruise ship I've been on. Every single comedy show I've ever been to on a cruise is completely packed. So I don't understand why those are so small. Maybe somebody can help me out in the comments below. It still held a decent amount of people. I just would have expected it to be bigger on that big of a boat. Deck 5 is where it's at. You also enter on deck 5, if that means anything to you. Right when you walk in, it's magical. It literally feels like you're in a mall or an airport. Nothing even close to feeling like a normal cruise ship. There's a pizza place, there's a pub bar that seems very Irish, Ireland style inspired. There's also a Michael Kors, there's a Kate Spade. So many things on deck 5 right when you walk in, and it's just overwhelming. The other cool thing on deck 5 is the floating bar. It stops on deck 5 and deck 8, I believe, and floats up in between the two. The balcony to the Opal Theater is also on deck 5, I believe, as well as the bottom layer of the spa workout situation that's called Vitality. Oh, also really important to note, there's a Starbucks on deck 5, so if you're a Starbucksaholic, similar to myself, it's really a great time. Deck 6 is where the main entry to the Vitality Spa Workout Center is. If you are a big smoothie drinker or juicer, they do have an area right when you walk inside of the Vitality Spa that makes smoothies and juices and things like that. The rest of Deck 6 does contain a lot of staterooms, but also it's kind of like the balcony to deck 5. So when you walk in on deck 5, there's all the magical, wonderful things that are just like shocking and you feel like, am I on a cruise ship? Then above that are a few other little bars and I think a place to book your next cruise, as well as a place for you to see all the photos that have been taken of you or your family. Then besides that, it's pretty much staterooms until you get to the back part of the boat. That is the boardwalk area. We went to the boardwalk, I would say at least 5 times a day. Why, you ask? Because Finley, my little sister, wanted to ride the carousel about 100 times. She probably did ride it 100 times. We should have counted. There's also a couple of little stores like Pinwheels, and there's also an arcade on this floor. And then there is a ice cream shop that has Ben & Jerry's, and that's actually where we signed up to do a cupcake decorating class the last day we were on board. Also on the boardwalk is Johnny Rockets. Opposite from Johnny Rockets is Sabor, which pops. It's so good. It is an extra fee. We ate there on the night of Finley's birthday. However, I would say highly worth it. I mean, it's expensive, like way more expensive than it should be, but like it's a cruise ship, so like isn't everything more expensive than it should be? Our food was so good. By far, hands down, the best food I had on the entire trip on board. Then when you keep walking past Sabor is the Aqua Theater. Again, it did not film the actual show that we saw here out of respect for Royal Caribbean, but it was awesome. It was such a good show. It was crazy. The high dive was insane, especially if you think about it. People are doing that while the boat is moving. Then if you turn around behind the Aqua Theater is the rock climbing walls. You have to go up a floor, so it's technically deck 7. There are 2 rock climbing walls on both sides, which are really easy to get on. Like I went a couple of different times and never really had to wait. Deck 8 is mainly staterooms, especially on the back end of the boat, but on the front end of the boat you do have Central Park, which is absolutely beautiful. There are several restaurants out there that are an additional cost for you. There's also a Tiffany's, which is insane. There's also a Coach right beside that. They had a cute little bar out there that I sat at one night and just read with my glass of wine. It was lovely. And again, that's where you can hop on that floating bar. Deck 9 through 12 are pretty much all staterooms. There's a few little things I think on deck 9 and 11 maybe, like the library and a couple little club type situations. We stayed on deck 12. Definitely one of the best rooms we've ever stayed in. The balcony was ginormous. I don't know if all of them are like that or we just picked one like that. My mom did everything on this trip, so I have no idea, but it was really, really nice, and it was nice to be able to sit out there like and do my makeup, or I did yoga out there one day. I brought a yoga mat with me and it was plenty of room for me to do yoga. Moving up to 14 is pretty much staterooms again, and then the kids zone. And there's also another arcade in the kids zone area. And to me, it gave me like a Chuck E. Cheese vibe. They're like normal style games. They're just kid size games. Also on deck 14, if you go out of the kids zone and go toward the front of the boat, you can actually go outside up there. It's pretty cool. It's super windy. Well, dependent on the weather, but it's literally just like a lookout at the front of the boat, and it's really, really cool and beautiful. Deck 15 is your spot. 15 is, of course, the main pool deck. It stretches across the entire length of the boat. I think there's 4 pools, like actual pools, and there's a couple of hot tub situations, and then there's like a circular pool near the kids area that like forces you to spin around. It was so cool, but my GoPro died, so I have no footage. sorry. There's so much to do up there. There's a couple of different bars. There's plenty of seating for everybody. Never had a day where I was like, crap, there's nowhere for me to sit. Besides the cool pools on deck 15, the other thing that's really cool is the kids zone. The kids splash area is insane. One of the biggest I've ever seen, and very, very kid friendly. Everything was a good size, as well as the pool. It's, I think, 2.5 feet to 3.5 feet, something like that. So the whole pool, Finley could touch the entire time, which is a very rare thing for her. I mean, she's a kid, but like any other pool on any other cruise ship we've ever been on, she's never been able to touch. So that was something that's also really cool, that they cater to kids. Also on deck 15 is a like teenage, I guess, area, and there's another arcade. So that's a total of 3 arcades on the Oasis of the Seas. When you keep going past the kids area, there's a basketball court, there's a putt-putt. Technically on deck 16, there's a zip line. There's also the flow rider. They have 2 of those. And the other main thing you need to know about deck 16 is the windjammer. That is going to be your main source of food besides the dining room. It's basically the buffet area where you can get breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, whatever you need, and it's on deck 16. Deck 17 and 18 I did not go to at all. To my knowledge, they're just suites / more staterooms. So that's pretty much the entire boat. The only other thing I'm gonna point out, because it was so important and crucial for me, is the size of the boat is a game changer if you have motion sickness. I have motion sickness, not super bad, but like bad. I guess it's kind of bad. But on the Oasis of the Seas, I could not feel a thing. So with that, that's pretty much all I got. If you're wanting a recommendation from me, I would highly recommend the Oasis of the Seas. I know it's more expensive, but I would say it's highly worth it. I enjoyed my trip so much. I know the rest of my family enjoyed our trip. I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know down in the comment section below if you've been on the Oasis of the Seas, or if you're about to go on the Oasis of the Seas. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel before you leave. And with that, I'll see you on my next video.